Now to the ongoing Hollywood drama everyone is talking about, the legal battle between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. Baldoni's legal team releasing some of the raw video from their film It Ends With Us, saying the footage shows the actors, quote, clearly behaving well within the scope of the scene and with mutual respect and professionalism. Now, Lively's team is countering, saying, quote, every frame of the released footage corroborates to the letter what Ms. Lively described.
So here to break all of this down for us is attorney and author Eboni K. Williams and ABC News contributor, attorney Brian Buckmire. Thank you both for being here with us, repping, I think, maybe the Eagles, but that's not what we're here to talk about. Eboni, I'm going to start with you. What do you make of Baldoni's team releasing this footage? It includes what they say are all the takes of that romantic moment in the film, in the dance scene that Lively's team cites in her sexual harassment lawsuit. What's the goal here?
Yeah, you know, it's so interesting here, Will, because I'm sure that Baldoni's team believes this is very helpful, obviously, for their client, hence the release here to the public. But this is such a interpretation of perspective, because I watched the footage, and I'm sure we all have, and, you know, it's very easy to argue, you know, that this indicates much of what Blake Lively is saying. You know, you see her literally, physically, viscerally pulling back from a kiss that was not pre-planned at some point. So I think just as much as it could be helpful to him, if you want to interpret it that way, I think this was a very dicey move, because I think this very much opens up interpretation to what Blake Lively is saying was uncomfortable, and the key word here, unwelcomed.
Okay, Brian, Blake Lively's team, you know, they released a statement saying, in part, the video itself is damning. They go on to say that they also think, describe in her complaint, they say releasing this video is a, quote, unethical attempt to manipulate the public. Is this video damning? Do you think this was a good strategy? Could this backfire for Baldoni?
So videos like this, I think, to what Eboni is getting at, is a bit of a dual-edged sword, because you're already starting to see people on social media and other avenues kind of be like, I'm Team Justin, I'm Team Blake. And depending on what team you're on, you're going to look at this and interpret it the way in which you want to. But come time when the jury is selected, if this does get to that point, I think it might, the people who are going to be there are not going to be entrenched in this social media back and forth as we are. They're going to disqualify as potential jurors. And so now you're going to have people who don't see these videos as much, don't see it as much, and they're going to look at it and say, well, here, Blake Lively is saying, let's not kiss, let's only talk. Is that her subtle way of saying, don't come close to me? And other people are going to say, well, she seems pretty comfortable physically, and they might even bring up the idea of, like, look at her past and other movies that she's made when she's being comfortable with co-stars. And so I think it's really going to come down to interpretation, and this more divides and I think helps anyone, one side or the other.
Justin Baldoni's attorney defended releasing the video. He said, quote, Ms. Lively wants very different standards to apply to her, but fortunately, truth and authenticity apply to everyone and can never be wrong. Looking at the video and the evidence to come, I can understand why Ms. Lively would now not want this to play out in public. So, Eboni, following the release of this footage, Blake Lively is now requesting a gag order against Baldoni's lawyer. Remind us, what exactly is a gag order, and will they likely get one?
Yeah, I think they're going to be successful with the gag order, because generally speaking, judges and real members of the judiciary don't like this kind of extrajudicial playing to the media type of strategy.
I don't think it's so much an argument as to fact, and I was explaining this to one of the producers in the back there, like, if I said that, Will, you're 6'3", we just pull up a measuring tape and we measure you. Either I'm right. And
that's what you would find.
Yeah. Either I'm right or I'm wrong. But if we wanted to talk as to whether or not I thought you were tall, that's an opinion that people are going to argue, going to go back and forth with. That's opinionated. And that's something that I find, at least in my experience, often goes to trial. And these arguments seem to be more opinionated than fact-based.
Thank you so much for making us smarter. We weren't here to talk football, but there is a lot of...
It's because it's this weekend.
Right, and lots of bruising hits back and forth in this case that is far from over. Thank you both. Eboni and Brian, we appreciate you being with us.